Thank you very much, Nancy. That was beautiful. Great way to start our Sunday service here on Zoom. The talk's going to be on faith, trust, and letting go. I just want to welcome everybody. My name is Kathleen, and I'm the platform assistant today. And we're very fortunate to have Nancy Snider as our musician, and she's multi-talented. And we're going to be able to enjoy some beautiful music with her cello playing. And so thank you for coming, Nancy. It's nice to have you again. And then we get to have, as our speaker is Cheryl Welsh-Charrier, who I think most of us know, and is really looking forward to her talk and finding out what inspiration she has to give us today. So thank you, Cheryl, for offering to do this. So thank you. All right, and now for our centering prayer before we go into the music. I picked a blessing for the new year by John O'Donohue. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the great window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the currach of thought and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. Amen.
Thank you, Nancy. That was lovely. And thank you, Kathleen. Write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, with too high a spirit to be cumbered with your old nonsense. This new day is too dear, with its hopes and invitations, to waste a moment on the yesterdays. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So the title of my talk this morning is Faith, Trust, and Letting Go. And we could also call this the Daily Word Talk. The daily word that was the initial inspiration is from September 28th. The word or words are let go and let God. And it begins, I deepen in trust as I release control. This caused me to begin thinking about the difference between faith and trust in a sort of which came first, the chicken or the egg kind of way, where trust and faith are concerned. I think the answer is neither and both. Later in the reading, it says, I am one with this greater wholeness, drawing forth all the resources of the higher power of God. On a good day, I trust that this is true and have faith in this power. Charles Fillmore calls faith, among other things, the perceiving power of the mind, linked with the power to shape substance, the power to do seemingly impossible things. It is a magnetic power that draws unto us our heart's desire from the invisible, spiritual substance. The online definition of faith is 1, complete trust or confidence in someone or something, and 2, strong belief in God or in the doctrines of religion. Here we have trust in the definition of faith. The online definition of trust, firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. Charles Fillmore doesn't address trust separately, but he does address faith compared with trust. Trust is a weaker brand of faith, but better than mistrust. As a rule, persons who merely trust the Lord do not understand divine law. Do we need to trust someone or something in order to have faith in that person or that process? Or do we need to have faith in order to trust? Is one more important than the other and are both necessary? As usual, I have more questions than answers. In Breathing Underwater, Father Richard Rohr says, God gives us power more than answers. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Indeed, by faith, our ancestors received approval. By faith, we understand that the worlds were prepared by the word of God, so that what was seen was made from things that are not visible. Hebrews 11, verses 1 through 3. Neither faith nor trust are tangible. You can't touch them or taste them. But do we see and feel them through and in each other? For me, the answer to that question is yes. I see them and feel them through my family and friends. I see them and feel them through each of you. Trust in the Lord and do good, so you will live in the land and enjoy security. Psalm 37, verse 3. In the introduction to Jackie Higgins' Sentient, she says, we can recapture that sense of having just tumbled out to life on a new world by looking at our own in an unfamiliar way. This speaks to me of letting go. Too often we go along just looking at things without really seeing them, tasting food but not really savoring it, feeling things, tangible or emotional, without really experiencing them. We become complacent. And it's only when we have a realization or an aha moment, sometimes brought on by a problem or a mistake, that we are shaken out of our complacency and begin to look around us, to look at our life differently. We see with new eyes and become available for a new experience of living. In her message several weeks ago, Reverend Karen said that our lives are an ongoing quest for truth, and our understanding evolves, and that we don't need any intermediary between ourselves and spirit. No, we absolutely do not need an intermediary. But I find that I need reminders on a fairly regular basis. And Unity and all of you are the best reminders that I have. The daily word for October 19th gives us let go and let God once again, and says, I do my best and release the rest. Feeling as though I am in control of my life gives me security and comfort. But I also understand there can be wisdom in relaxing and releasing that control. This reminds me of a list of 12 Zen things I keep on our refrigerator. Do one thing at a time. Do it slowly and deliberately. Do it completely. Do less. Put space between things. And later on, devote time to sitting and live simply. Letting go of control is a form of surrender. And I gave a talk some time ago called The Power of Surrender. Exploring what it is that we need to surrender and let go of, I wrote, more than likely, it's preconceived notions about who we are and what we're capable of, which can sometimes lead us to feelings of lack and limitation, i.e., self-judgment and negative self-talk. One of the advantages of letting go or surrendering is that we become open and teachable. At one of my 12-step meetings, someone shared that they thought surrendering must mean being struck stupid. I texted this friend and said that maybe it means being struck teachable. May we all remain teachably in the flow of life. In a talk by Father Richard Rohr I found on YouTube called Everything is a Gift, he talks about being grateful in our heads as opposed to being grateful with our whole being. It seems to me that this level of whole being gratitude is an avenue that opens us to trust and faith. He also says that religious people are often preoccupied with being right and what you feel you are owed versus what you already have. Calculable mind versus contemplative mind. In a different talk, he said that the Reformation was the death of contemplative mind. It's when we got into I'm right and you're wrong. He calls calculable mind and contemplative mind two different types of software. And calculable mind is the one that we probably downloaded, probably when we were children, and learned to rely on. What we need is an upgrade to contemplative mind. And of course, it doesn't look the same or function the same, and we're forced to learn something new. The most profound statement I got from this talk is, the true self is who you are in God and who God is in you. Faith and trust. Imelda Shanklin is eloquent when writing about consciousness. In What Are You, she says, the true silence arrests thinking. In it, you merge with God. You do not enter the silence, but the silence is in you. It is the center where God is conscious of himself in you. Then comes the fusion of spiritual, mental, physical. All manifestations are called back into the center. This is the achievement of the divine composite. I in them, and thou in me. In Breathing Underwater, Father Richard has a lot to say about consciousness as well, and being spiritually conscious and aware fosters trust and faith. He says, consciousness is the subtle and all-embracing mystery within and between everything. Consciousness is not the seeing, but that which sees me seeing. It is not the knower, but that which knows I am knowing. How many times in our lives have we said, I just know? I don't know how or why, but I just know. In Rising Strong, Brené Brown talks about getting curious. Choosing to be curious is choosing to be vulnerable because it requires us to surrender to uncertainty. Surrendering to uncertainty is, for me, letting go and letting God. And it takes faith and trust. She also says there's a profound relationship between curiosity and wholeheartedness. And through trust and faith, I believe we are wholehearted. Back to the daily word, this time for October 13th. The word is optimism, and trust and faith give us the ability to be unfailingly optimistic. The reading says, when I trust God in all things, the empowering energy of positive thought flows through me and connects me with others. I let nothing shake my faith in the goodness of the world and its people. For truly I tell you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. Jesus in Matthew 17, verse 20. I just kept finding daily word readings that resonated with me. October 25th, the word is faith. Faith is my anchor in a sea of doubt, followed by faith is the divine gift that I use to perceive the truth in any situation or circumstance. It also talks about allowing faith to be swayed by appearances. We had firsthand experience of this when my cell phone was hacked, and we were in a place that we would not know how far down the rabbit hole we would tumble. I spent a lot of time affirming that everything would work out for the best and all would be well. And at times it was hard to stay in faith and out of fear. You heard that we have a new email address. That's one of the things that fell apart when we were hacked. Jeremiah 17 verses 7 through 8 says, blessed are those who trust in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. They shall be like a tree planted by water, sending out its roots by the stream. It shall not fear when heat comes, and its leaves shall stay green. In the year of drought, it is not anxious, and it does not cease to bear fruit. That's a powerful metaphor, lesson, mandate. Pick one or maybe all. The October 20th daily word is open. I open myself to those I trust. Being open makes me available to connect with others and to give and receive trust. And it takes faith as well as trust to be open in this way. Let go and let God showed up several times over a period of 2 or 3 months. This is from November 4th. Turning within, I access my divine power. As I have grown spiritually, I have come to understand God as the one presence and power in the universe and in my life. This is principle 1. All of our principles point the way to having faith in and trust in divine wisdom and guidance, which we can only access if we let go. In the article by Reverend Kelly Isola called Living Oneness in the 5 Principles booklet, she writes, we build boxes for God in the hopes of knowing and understanding what likely can never be known. Still, we keep trying. Why? Because I believe the most profound emotion and experience is the sensation of what is mystical. We know this sense of oneness on an intuitive level from a place in our brain that does not use language, rationality, or logic. Reverend Isola recommends that because we are constantly changing, we keep our boxes pliable and changeable. This is nothing more than remaining teachable. Which brings me to prayer. Prayers come out of a deep sense of connection to our inner wisdom. and help us navigate this world and our lives in it. In One Breath at a Time, Kevin Griffin says, prayer isn't just words, it's a state of mind, of sinking into the truth, into its meaning. To believe that just repeating some stock phrases will bring results is magical thinking. Many of us grew up being taught and thinking that faith had to do with saying rote prayers and memorizing Bible verses. That, in addition to going to Sunday school and church. That's where the faithful gathered. And I have the Sunday school perfect attendance pins to prove it. Evolving spiritually, we find that faith is not that at all. For me, it's about finding beauty and meaning in the world I live in. Doesn't seem to matter which comes first, trust or faith. The important thing seems to be that we let go so we can have a deeper experience of them. Or is it that we embrace them so that we can let go? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? In truth, with a capital T, it doesn't matter. Each and every one of us is a unique expression of the divine, walking our own path. Do we stray off the path occasionally? I certainly do. I seem to doubt myself on a daily basis, but the November 20th Daily Word provides a how-to for letting go and experiencing trust and faith. The word is grace. Grace blesses my life in every way. It defines grace as the ceaseless activity of divine love and says, I need not earn grace. It is never withheld. Just as water flows when I turn the tap, saying yes to grace is all I have to do for divine life, love, wisdom, and strength to flow freely to every part of my life. And from 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9, he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. And just when you thought you'd heard enough daily words for one day, here's one from October 8th. With faith and trust, I live fully, embracing my pleasant experiences and facing up to my challenging ones. Letting go and relying on faith and trust through indwelling spirit aligns us with our work. And our Advent booklet for December 29 tells us what that work is. My work is to manifest love through my words and actions. And now let's listen to Alan sing our thoughts, our prayers to us so we can go into meditation. Let's get in touch with the silence within by breathing. You might want to breathe in, God is, and breathe out, I am. God is absolute good, everywhere present. The Christ Spirit lives in me and works through me. I co-create with my inner divinity. My prayers are creative thinking. I live these truths every minute of every day. And so it is, and so it will always be. Amen.
And now I'm just going to do a short closing prayer. It's going to be a little light. I think it'll bring a little smile to your heart, hopefully. Called Let Go and Let God by Deborah Stitt. As children bring their broken toys with tears for us to mend, I brought my broken dreams to God because he is my friend. But then instead of leaving him in peace to work alone, I hung around and tried to help with ways that were my own. At last, I snatched it back again and cried, "How can you be so slow?" "My child," he said, "what could I do? You'd never let it go." Amen.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.